Hello and welcome. My name is Yinka. In this video, I'll be going over an Eliza plugin that I built. This is a simple crypto price plugin. The goal of this project was to get a deeper understanding of how Eliza plugins are built, the ins and outs, and how everything comes together. And so I'll be making a three-part series on how to build Eliza plugins in the near future. In this three-part series, we'll cover actions, evaluators, and providers. Now, that being said, allow me to run you through how this plugin works, and we'll then go over the code base. Now that we've spun up our Eliza server, here's a quick overview of what this plugin is about. This is a simple crypto price plugin that gets price data from the CoinGecko API and displays them to the user. But that isn't where its functionalities stop. We're also able to take tokens we've bought and add them to our portfolio. Let me just show you how it works. So right off the bat, we'll start with the price of a token. And as you can see, we get Bitcoin, the asset, and its current price, the price changes, the market cap, and a few descriptions. Now, one of the things I want to point out, if you've been building Eliza plugins or if you've been using Eliza, you'll notice things like this. So this right here is the action. And we'll get into actions, evaluators, and providers a bit later in the video. But this is the action that was triggered when this request was made. Now that we have requested the price of a particular token, we can tell Eliza that we bought said token and we want Eliza to add that token to our portfolio. Now we've told our agent that we got 10 Bitcoin at $80,000 and we want it to add to our portfolio, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure, I'm gonna add this to your portfolio. So now that we've added this token to our portfolio, we can then go on ahead and ask our agent to show us our portfolio. Now, every single one of these requests that we've made are triggering certain actions to give us the responses that we desire. So now what that looks like would be, show me my current portfolio. So this is my current portfolio. So prior to this, I had just 0.5 BTC, and now I added 10 more, and my agent is able to run the math. So this is the amount of Bitcoin I have, average purchasing price, current price, value, P&L, all of that. The total amount I have invested in buying cryptocurrencies, and this is the current value. And it tells me my overall profit and or loss. In this case, I'm in a profit of $46,000. It also tells me the last time this was updated. So I just told my agent that, hey, I got 5 ETH at $1,900, add to my portfolio. I was like, sure, I'm gonna do that. And then I say, show me my portfolio, let's see what we're working with. And this is what we have. It's been updated. It's different from the previous version of our portfolio. So this is what this plugin does. It gets you price on request, it adds tokens into your portfolio, and it displays your portfolio on demand. So now that we have an overview of how the plugin works, let us go into the code base and I'll walk you through the code and show you what we did to get this all up and running. So we're in the index.ts file. This is the entry point of our Eliza plugin. Every Eliza plugin you build will have an index.ts file. Now, this isn't even the exciting part for me. The exciting part is under actions and the provider as well, but we start with actions. So right off the bat, we start with the crypto action. This is the very first action that we worked with. This is the action that gets the price of the cryptocurrency and displays it to the user. Its job is simple. Its job is to get price of a token and display it to the user, period. And then, we can go over the code and everything. We have callbacks for errors, and we have callbacks that will display the actual response once it's gotten it, which is right here. And a few other error management, so we get actual responses to the user. And now we have add to portfolio. This is the action that takes a token and adds it to our portfolio. The really cool thing about this, though, is that it is actually adding this to the database. Now, if you're not familiar, Eliza does have an SQLite database that it works with, where every single conversation you have is stored in that database. So what we did in our service.ts file is I think it's actually portfolio. Yeah, portfolio.ts file is we saved everything in that database, right? So everything is actually being saved in that database, and we're able to pull that record at any point in time, which is really, really cool. And one of the things I'm still working on is to, give the ability to actually get rid of a piece of token from the portfolio, but I'll get into that and update the GitHub. But for now, though, we have access to add whatever token we need to add into our portfolio, and the prices are always being updated because it is getting the data in real time. And then we have the get portfolio action. What this action does is it makes a request to pull the data from the database and display that to the user. So as the name suggests, it gives us the ability to view our portfolio, and as you've seen in the entry point of this video, we were able to see every single thing that we had in our portfolio. Now, one really cool feature that I didn't quite show at the beginning is the ability for our agents to sort of pick up on what we're talking about and provide insights. So here's what that means. When I say things like, By default, our agent knows that once we say ETH, we're talking about Ethereum. And it goes on and says this: I understand you're asking about Ethereum as an investment. While I cannot provide financial advice, I can tell you that Ethereum is currently trading at X price, which is down by Y% in the last 24 hours. Any investment decision should be based on your own research and risk tolerance. Cryptocurrency markets are highly volatile, and what works for one person may not work for another. So I programmed this context. I'm going to show you that in the provider right now. So I programmed this context and told the agent that, hey, whenever a user is trying to ask you for investment advice, do not give them actual investment advice, because that is not a wise thing to do. The agent isn't particularly a financial advisor, right? So what I told the agent to do is, the user seems to be asking for investment advice. You should not provide specific investment advice recommendations, but you can provide factual market information like the price and the volatility of the market. Mention that cryptocurrency investments carry significant risk and the user should do their own research. So with this, the agent is able to have that at the back of its mind when the user makes a request or makes a statement about wanting investment advice implicitly. And that is one of the really cool things about providers. Providers provide context to the agent, and then the agent figures out how to properly respond to that and how to properly work with that. So in this case, the use of a provider in this plugin that we've built is to provide some form of context to our agent. Depending on what's being said or asked by the user, the agent is able to take that context and provide, because it's using a provider, and provide an appropriate response to the user's request, right? There's so many use cases for providers in Eliza. We'll be going in depth in those when we go into the series we'll be working on while we're building providers. And so we'll start off with actions, we'll build evaluators and providers. Now we do have an evaluator here. This was built in the early stage of the program, and it does a bunch of really cool things. What it does is fairly similar to what the provider does, but the provider is a much better fit for that particular use case. When we go into the series of actually building out Eliza plugins, actions, evaluators, and providers, I will go deep into how to build evaluators for your project and where they come in, why you need an evaluator, and so on and so forth. Now, there are also a bunch of really cool things that come together to make this possible. Yeah, we have actions, evaluators, and providers, but we do have things like examples. So examples are, potential conversations that Eliza needs to have, the agent needs to have, to then figure out how it should best respond, right? In here, we do have examples for get crypto examples. So these are texts that the user will send to the agent, and this is how the agent is likely to respond, and what the agent is likely to do, which action the agent is likely to trigger. And we have, actions, we have examples for every action so that the agent sort of has a feel of what it should expect and how it should respond when a user says a particular thing. It works for the most part, and then, everything else is just built on top of the agent's ability to learn what is happening in the entire dialogue and grow from there. Again, this is the index file. So this is the portfolio.ts service file, if you will, that sort of handles the addition of tokens into our portfolio. So it is actually writing data into the database, which is super cool, and we're able to pull that data back from the database. And service here is where we've written our API request. All of the API requests are pretty much being done from here and then sent back to the user as a response. And yeah, that is pretty much it. This is the entirety of what brings this plugin together. I think it's a really cool tool. I think it has a lot of potential. I think there's so many really cool things we can get into and do with the plugin. But for now, this is what it is. It's not meant to be like a product or whatever. It was a project that I set out on to fully understand how Eliza works and how plugins are built with Eliza. Honestly, this wasn't the plugin I set out to build. I set out to build something a bit more ambitious, but I had a few bottlenecks down the way, and it just made sense to sort of pivot and have something functional that I can learn and understand how it works, and then hopefully teach you as well. And so, yes, this is a simple crypto price plugin. It gets you the prices of current cryptocurrencies. It gives you the ability to add cryptocurrencies into your portfolio, and you can also view your portfolio. And all of that is actually being written into the database of Eliza, so the agent has proper context of what you're asking for. Now, like I said, I will be working on a 3-part series looking into actions, evaluators, and providers. So I'm looking forward to that. Feel free to subscribe if you would like to see that as well. Share this video if you found it helpful. Leave a like, leave comments if you have any questions. If I missed anything, please feel free to call me out on them. I'm looking forward to learning and taking feedback. And yeah, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one.